good running back.
3rd down and 6. Forte with a first down and a lot more. And the rookie from Tulane will go into the end zone.
Picked up by Leon Lett. Can he go all the way? It's a 60-yard run. He's being chased by Beebe. Watch out.
Welcome back to another episode of Football Thursday here on my channel, Condog209. Thank you for joining me. It is week 5 here, doing lots of work here. And as you can see here, my rankings have not changed. I probably could have changed them, but I did run into a massive computer issue to where I had to totally reinstall Windows, blah, 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 blah. So, I had a lot of reinstalling to do, including Adobe and, a bunch of games, files, Steam, a bunch of other crap. So the fact that I'm even getting this episode out, that's fine. I was able to save this because this was on a different hard drive, the images. So not too much of a loss there, actually, considering it's saving my whole computer and whatnot. So enough technical jargon for now. Back to the rankings. So pretty much, the same rankings, but, the games of the week here are definitely going to have a big impact on that, and it's going to be awesome. And you know what? Since, I'm kind of running on borrowed time and, limited time and big games need to be played, let's go to the games of the week right away. Let's just make it quick, easy, and fun. So, games of the week. Again, as I am doing this, remember, this is for each different time slots. 9 a.m. time slot, Pacific Standard Time, 12:30, 4:30. So, if you got something planned or you're doing something, you still got a game to watch that could be fun to watch. So, let's kick it off at the top. Iowa is going to the Big House to take on Khaki Pants Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines. And a lot of people have been talking about this could be a very defining game here for the Michigan Wolverines here in the Harbaugh era. And Joel Klatt actually said it on the Herd a day or two ago, but he said this may actually be the defining game, not just one of, but the defining game, which is, very big, very huge here. Because that's exactly what Harbaugh could need to get fired if they lose. Maybe I don't know, because he's already had a big loss to Wisconsin and beat down. If you lose to Iowa and Ohio State, not looking pretty in the neighborhood. But next, it is going to be the Auburn Tigers. They're going all the way to Tallahassee, Florida, to take on the Florida Gators, and this is going to be a great one. SEC East meets SEC West, and it is going to be a clash here. Top 10 battle here, SEC supremacy, and honestly, it doesn't really matter who wins or loses here technically in terms of conference wise, just because your conference record does matter, but your division record in the conference matters just a little more to get to that conference championship game, just slightly, considering how the SEC is. You're bound to have look at the rate, look at how many I have in the top 10, top 15. You're bound to lose to each other. That's just the way the cookie crumbles when a bunch of top teams are in the same conference. It's a top heavy conference, and so some teams have to bite the apple, bit the dust. That just happens. Can't wait for that as well. That is going to be a great afternoon showdown. And then here for the evening night game, we got the Spartans from Michigan State. Mark D'Antonio is going to take on rookie head coach Mr. Day himself, the former offensive coordinator, now that Urban Meyer's left. And let's see what he can do against his first really big matchup here. He's got a home game again. Wow, he got both. Well, he got a lot of home games here, but that's going to be awesome. At first, I thought he got both Michigans at home, but I just realized that game's at the Big House this year. Again, I just, I do this, no scripted. I like to sound as natural as possible, and scripting is not one of my things for forte, especially when it comes to sport. I like being volatile. I like being volatile, just like football is. It's very volatile. I can predict stuff, all I want, but it's volatile. There's X factors. It's human error. That's just how the way the cookie crumbles. I like validity, and I like validity. I like volatility. I don't even know if volatility is a word, but I don't care because all words are made up. All words are made up because, I mean, the person who wrote the first words clearly had to make them up somehow. But enough about that. Again, these are some great games. They got some great impacts on the rankings, possibly. Well, definitely. But my rankings are different than, AP and BCS and BS. But that's just that. But again, rankings there. And with that, I guess it is time, to go to football, NFL football. Let's take a look at how I did for Pigskin Pick'em. Again, as you can see, I have moved up to the 70 percentile. I'm in the top 70% of Pigskin Pick'em. Points wise, again, I do straight. That is pretty solid, I would say. I'm in the top 200,000. That's fair, considering that the top guy isn't even perfect. That's pretty fair. But let's take a look here. The Eagles and the Packers. I actually have a lot to say about this game because we all know what happened. Tip pass ran into the Eagles defender's hand. Packers could have won. But guess what? I ran into an Eagles fan, and he said, it got tip. He said that's why they do tip drills. You have never, ever played corner or secondary at a high level, first of all, if you think tip drills are a thing, because one, any good coach, any good staff, any good program, any good and a professional team will teach you are supposed to bat it down, not tip it up, bat it down. Tip drills are fun little Pop Warner high school practices when you have a week game or it's fun day and special teams day and you can just tip it up and have some fun. But other than that, no, tip drills do not exist in a real college or NFL format because you are taught to bat it down, because when you tip it up on the Hail Mary, guess who's going to come up with the ball? The 6'2", the 6'4" wide receiver with a 40-inch vertical, not the 5'8", the 5'10" cornerback or safety. Yeah, tip drill's not a thing. Don't even try. I'm sorry, dude. I'm not gonna call you out name-wise or whatever, but just sorry, dude. You're just a radical Eagles fan. That's all I'm calling it. Next up, it is the Falcons versus the Titans, and my oh my, the Falcons looked god awful. I mean, they have Matt Ryan, who won an MVP a couple seasons ago. Julio Jones, debatable on where he is ranking all time, but he's a Hall of Famer. Calvin Ridley's an awesome, down home run receiver. Mohamed Sanu, Devontae Freeman. I don't know what's wrong here. Don't know why they can't get the ball into Ridley's hand or win games. But enough about that. Patriots and Bills, that was what we thought it was going to be. Two of the top defenses colliding, and kind of a banged-up New England team and a banged-up Bills team going at it. One team had to win, one team had to lose. But AFC East still has, two of the top teams in the AFC. That's going to be awesome. That is going to be awesome to take a look at. And it's Browns and Ravens. The Browns actually looked alive. I cannot believe it. The Browns actually looked alive. That is incredible. The Browns looked extremely alive, and it was fun. It was fun to look at. It was fun to watch. And with that, let's just, scroll down here. Chiefs and Lions. Again, I said it could be close, folks. I actually said that last episode it could be close, and it was very close. Chiefs did pull out the win in the end, but the Lions, again, that's totally disrespectful that people only gave 5% to the Lions. That was a very close game, and I called that being a close game. That was disrespectful. I would have thought more people would have took a shot on that. Obviously, they end up being right, but that's totally disrespectful. I'm sorry. Next up, it is the Raiders and the Colts, and the Raiders came to play in Oakland. Darren Waller's been on fire. Terrell Williams has been on fire. Next up, I got nothing else to say. Next up, it is the Chargers versus the tanking Dolphins. Really? 4% Dolphin? Almost the same amount of people chose the Dolphins to beat the Chargers than the Lions to beat. I'm done. I'm sorry. Don't ever pay attention to that. People are dumb. They're dumb. They're trolls. Just don't. Those aren't. If this is the NFL's audience where they disrespect the Lions like that and totally want to give the Dolphins the same amount of percent, no, sorry, I'm not gonna even acknowledge it anymore. Next up, it was the Giants and the Redskins, and I predicted. I went Giants easy. Liking Daniel Jones a lot. It looks really good. Would like to see how Sterling Shepard and does with Golden Tate now back too. It's going to be fun offense. Next up, did not call this at all. Did not expect this at all. I mean, the Rams lost with 40 points on the board. This is only because they allowed the Bucs 55 points. Aaron Donald's one of the highest paid players. He was ranked number 1 player. I don't care who you are. I know it's a team effort or whatever, but if you're going to be the number 1 player in the league, number 1 defensive player, Mr. Big Time Sack Guy, you can't allow 55 points to Jameis Winston when you were home. Can't. Next up, it was the Cardinals versus the Seahawks. I figured it was going to be a Seahawks win here just because the Cardinals just, very lackluster on the offensive line and scoring department, can gain yards but not points. Next up, Vikings, Bears, and Bears allowed a last-second touchdown. You people gave the Vikings way too much credit from what I saw. I like Thielen, I like Diggs, I like Cook, I like their defense, but whoa, awful. Vikings need to get rid of Kirk Cousins or find someone else. It's not working out. Next up, it is the Jaguars and the Broncos, and I picked the Broncos, but the Jags ended up pulling a 2-point victory. That's fine. Grain of salt. We got 2-point victories, actually, because the Sunday night game, Cowboys-Saints, was also a 2-point victory. And I actually did pick the Saints here, so I did end up winning with an upset home victory to the Saints. I gave the Saints the fair shot because they were home. And that's what happened. Next up, Steelers, Bengals, and the Steelers. The Wildcat is back, folks. They ran the Wildcat again. They said, you know what? We got a different quarterback. Let's just run the Wildcat with Jalen Samuels. Dump off a lot of plays to James Conner. See how it works. And worked well for me. Let's see if they can keep running the Wildcat and look like the 2008-2009 Miami Dolphins. All right, that is awesome, in my opinion. Next, let's go up to this week. Yeah, we're just going to exchange to week 5 here. Rams, Seahawks, Thursday Night Football. This is going to be a close one, in my opinion, but I will roll with the whole home team here, the Seattle Seahawks and the 12th man. It's going to be a good ride here. Early morning games, folks. Here we go. It is the Falcons and Texans, and I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta wins just because Texans have been very weak at corner and they have a very elite group of wide receiver at the Falcons. But I will take Deshaun Watson and the Texans since they've looked a lot better than the Falcons this year so far. But that's kind of that's more of a give or take than the percentage picked. And as much as I'm kind of done with the Falcons, I still have to respect those weapons because I'm not, dumb. You have to. Bills, Titans, clash of 2 great defenses of the NFL. These teams, they've been holding offenses down like no other business. I mean, the Titans held the Browns offense. Bills held the Patriots offense. It has been nobody's business here. If Josh Allen starts, from what I've heard, I will roll with the Bills, Josh Allen, but if he's not there, if you still have a chance to pick and Josh Allen isn't there, I suggest the Titans, but I'm going to roll with the Bills just because, and I already picked it. Next up, it is the Chicago Bears versus the Oakland Raiders, and I'm actually going to roll with the Chicago Bears here, and I know Mitch Trubisky's out, but Chase Daniels is not that much of a downgrade, so I don't, again, a lot of people said Mitch Trubisky's limited, so I don't exactly expect too much from Mitchell Trubisky from time to time. Sometimes he has great games, sometimes he's Mitchell Trubisky. But I'm going to take the Bears here. They got, the best defense. Let's see how they shut down, just Terrell Williams and Darren Waller. Whatever it takes. Next up, it is the battle of winless teams here, but not 0-4 teams, as the Cardinals do have that tie, and the Cardinals have a chance to, win against, a bad offensive line, and the Bengals with their bad offensive line. So it is a battle of, winless teams, bad offensive lines, and there's no Ross here for the Bengals here. No AJ Green still. So I'm going to actually roll with the Cardinals here as they actually did lock down Tyler Lockett for a little bit there, even with a weak secondary. Going to roll with the Cards. Next up, it is the Vikings and Giants, and I trust Daniel Jones more than Kirk Cousins, and that is going to be the story of that game. Next up, Redskins, Patriots. Next up, Bucks, Saints, and this is going to be a lot closer than people think just because from what I saw the Buccaneers do to the Rams and the Panthers, but I'm going to pick the Saints, but that may be with a heavy heart. Jets, Eagles, no Sam Darnold from what I've heard, so that is Eagles next. Not much to say there. Ravens, Steelers, and my oh my, the Steelers, who started 0-3, have a chance to be tied for first in the AFC North with a victory against the Ravens and a Browns loss. Are you kidding me? How can you start 0-3 and by week 5 actually end up being first in your division? Why, my oh my, this is why I love the NFL, and this is why I love football, and the tables have turned so much. But with that, I'm liking this Wildcat. It's going to be a lot of running. This is going to be a lot of running, folks. So if you're a fan of running football, this is the game. If you have Red Zone, you like a lot of running football, this is the game you've tuned into, because this is exactly what it's going to be. Next up, it is the Carolina Panthers and Jacksonville Jaguars, and the battle of, the southeastern cat family, and I really have no idea who to pick here for the most part, but I'm going to go with the Panthers just because of DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel. I like them a lot, and Christian McCaffrey over injury-prone Fournette and D.D. Westbrook and DJ Chark, but that's about it. I'm going to roll with the Panthers. They are home, but I think it's going to be close. Next, Chargers and Broncos. And Broncos have had some close games, but Chargers, number one receiver in the league right now is Keenan Allen, which makes Phillip Rivers having a number one receiver awesome. They're getting Melvin Gordon back, and Eckler's been on fire, so I'm going to roll with the Chargers here. Next up, it is not on Sunday night, but it is definitely a standalone game. It is the Cowboys and Packers, and I mean Aaron Rodgers. It got Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and my God, MVS. Because Devontae Adams possibly going to be out for this game. It's got Amari Cooper, Zeke Elliott. It's going to be in Jerry World. It's going to be awesome. And you know what? The Cowboys secondary, everyone can say, the Cowboys defense looked great, but look at who their quarterbacks have been. Teddy Bridgewater, Josh Rosen, Eli Manning, Case Keenum. This is Aaron Rodgers. He is leagues above all of those guys, and so there is a chance. Let's see what this Cowboys team is really, really made of. All right, next it is the Sunday night game. It is a rematch of the AFC playoff match. It is Jacoby Brissett going into Kansas City. Yikes. That is yikes. And when possibly no T.Y. Hilton and maybe missing Marlon Mack and Jack Doyle. This is, even though the Chiefs are missing Tyreek Hill and Damian Williams actually had a full practice, so I'm going to roll Kansas City here, folks. I cannot just, I can't just have Jacoby Brissett not have a good chunk of his weapons gone and expect to win. Then Monday night, folks, here it is. It is the Niners and Browns. Niners are home. They got a week off, so I might actually roll with them because not only do they have a week off, they also had an extra day with the Monday. So then I got the score 31-20. So that is going to be it for the Pigskin Pick'em. And I actually forgot about standings. I know I usually say Pick'em for the end, but oh well, I'm volatile and I totally forgot about standings here. But let's just take a look here. It is currently Chiefs, Patriots, Texans, Browns, Bills, Raiders, Chargers. That's the 7 that I'm paying attention to. And honestly, a pretty good 7, chances. I actually think 2 AFC East teams are going to make the playoffs this year because the Bills have looked better than the Texans, Browns, Raiders, and Chargers in terms of win-loss column. And they have a chance to sneak in, playing the Dolphins again and the Jets again. They have a very good chance here. And the Chiefs and Patriots, I cannot wait for that regular season matchup because what? And being honest, if I'm being 100% honest, folk, they could both be undefeated at that game, and it could definitely be one team going in to the playoffs 16-0 from this conference, and one team being 15-1. How insane! I've heard of 13-3, 14-2, maybe a 15-1, 13-3. But if two teams are 15-1 and 16-0, that is that, and it's a very high possibility. These teams are just that. Well, I mean, Kansas City's electric, and New England Patriots are what we call roadblockers for all the other teams because they're definitely not electric like the Kansas City Chiefs, but they are definitely a roadblock for anybody. And then let's go take a look at our National Football Conference, and then considering all the hubba that's been going around here, the Niners are somehow the number 1 seed here. But they have that they had the bye week, all that shenanigans and all that. But the Saints have looked great still. The Packers have looked solid still. Tip pass, blah 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 blah. Cowboys, I'm not sure that Saints game. We'll take a look at this Green Bay game because they're playing first place teams now. They're not getting the easy teams. Chicago Bears still actually looked really good. Seahawks have looked good. Rams looked good but have looked bad, and the Lions have actually looked really good, and the Bucks have looked good lately. The Giants have looked great with Daniel Jones, and I think the other teams have looked bad. The Eagles, lucky tip pass. They need Foles meme here. Away from being 1-3. But with that, I'm going to end the episode here this week, just because the computer problems kind of set me behind schedule, so I've kind of had to play catch up here. You can kind of tell it was just been a longer week than necessary for me. But with that, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for next week. Definitely gonna have a change in college rankings and NFL and all this shebang. But with that, goodbye. See you next time. Subscribe. Tell your friends. Share it. I don't care. Share it however you want. Click the bell. I'm your boy here. All right. And again, I do plan on maybe getting, more permanent content, not weekly, kind of weekly. You got to click on this before this date kind of content or else it's useless. I will be working on those. Not going to say what it is yet, but I will be working on those. With that, goodbye.